He who does not govern his thoughts will be governed by others' intentions. Clarity begins where noise ends. To think clearly, you must first silence the chorus of fools who speak before they understand. The mind that is loud cannot listen, and the mind that cannot listen is already lost. Do not trust the impulse. The first thought is often not yours, it is the echo of another man's fear, your culture's guilt, your enemy's wish. If emotion enters the gate, judgment escapes through the window. To think is to strip away the emotion, until only the strategy remains. Most people act from panic. They call it morality, but it is fear. To make better decisions, think not of what is good, think of what is useful. There is no nobility in failure. Do not seek what sounds righteous. Seek what secures your outcome. The wise do not trust every piece of information. They question the source, the motive, the timing. Data without scrutiny is deception in disguise. Delay is not cowardice, it is command. Those who rush into decisions are led by the tempo of others. Wait. Watch, let the careless reveal their cards. A good decision is not always a popular one, but popularity dies faster than consequences. Think for yourself, not for applause. The crowd is fickle. Their cheers cannot protect you from the cost of a foolish choice. He who prepares for betrayal will not be surprised by it. Assume others act in their interest. That's not cynicism, that's clarity. To understand people, expect that they value themselves more than you. Your mind is a court. Let reason sit as king, and let emotion plead its case, but never let it rule. Before you act, ask, who profits, who suffers, who is blind? The right question is worth more than 10 right answers. The man who thinks slowly is feared more than the man who speaks quickly. Let silence be your tactic. Speak only when the words bend the world in your favor. Until then, sharpen your intent in secret. Better to be accused of arrogance than to be the victim of ignorance. Train your mind like a blade. Keep it cold, keep it close, and let no one touch it who hasn't earned the right. He who acts in passion walks blind into the fire and calls the burn destiny. The first mistake begins with the first emotion. Anger, pride, love, fear, all of them paint over the facts, dressing danger as opportunity and calling weakness a virtue. Emotion is not guidance, it is temptation. Those who decide in anger always regret in silence. Those who love too deeply trust too quickly, and those who fear obey without knowing what they serve. Clarity dies when feeling becomes king. You cannot see through a storm. And yet most people navigate life with rain clouds in their eyes, soaked in opinion, flooded by reaction. The man who feels too much sees too little. To think clearly, you must subtract, not add. Remove the noise. Cut out the urgency, strip the drama, until what remains is not what you feel, but what is. The truth rarely raises its voice. Emotion always shouts. What is loud is not always correct. In fact, the louder the emotion, the more likely it's hiding a truth you don't want to face. Most people confuse emotion with truth, and they suffer for it. She feels insulted, so she believes she's right. He feels fear, so he believes the threat is real. They feel offended, so they rewrite the facts. This is not judgment, it is theater. If emotion is your compass, you are lost before you begin. Clarity begins with control. Control over yourself, not others. He who cannot pause his reaction is already a slave to the moment. A ruler does not panic. A general does not cry. A strategist does not shout, because they know. Emotion on the battlefield is a death sentence, and life, too, is a battlefield of choice, power, and consequence. Feel deeply if you must, but act only once you've silenced the flood. This does not mean you must be cold. It means you must be measured. Fire can warm, but unchecked, it consumes. So must the mind know when to feel, and when to command. Even noble feelings can cloud vision. Love can blind you to betrayal. Hope can bind you to failure. Guilt can make you loyal to your own destruction. Not all soft emotions are harmless. Some of them kill slowly. They tell you to follow your heart, but they never tell you what to do when your heart lies. And it will lie. It wants comfort, not clarity. It seeks relief, not truth. So you must think above it, not inside it. The strongest men have cried in silence, not because they are weak, but because they are wise enough to separate feeling from decision. Let the tears fall behind the curtain, but when the curtain lifts, be a tactician, not a victim. Emotion is temporary, but the cost of an emotional decision is permanent. You cannot afford to act as others do if you wish to stand above them. They react. You wait. They explode. You calculate. They lose control. You gain power. This is the way. A man who conquers nations is feared, but the man who conquers himself is untouchable. If you can stop yourself from speaking, from acting, from moving when your body screams to react, you own a strength 99% will never know. Do not let the moment make the decision. Make the decision and let the moment obey. Your future depends on how well you can resist the first impulse, the first punch, the first post. The first yes, the first no. Delay is your weapon. Calm is more than peace, it is power restrained. Be calm not because the world is safe, but because you refuse to be ruled by it. Once emotion is silenced, you will see, but what you see is not always what is real. The fog of emotion fades, but now comes a deeper threat illusion, not what you feel, but what you think you see. The world does not show itself as it is, it shows itself as it wants to be seen. Perception is a mask, and every mask has a motive. You will be deceived not by lies, but by the plausible, not by shadows, but by what looks like light. Deception does not begin in darkness, it begins in clarity so perfect, you forget to question it. That smile hides leverage, that praise buys loyalty, that apology buys time. The wise do not accept the surface. They look for the strings beneath the curtain. To obey perception is to be ruled by illusion. To rule perception is to dictate the truth. You must train your eyes not to look but to see. The surface is entertainment. The reality is power. Never trust the first truth that fits your hopes, because it doesn't come to confirm, it comes to control. That's how manipulation works. It hands you the image you want, while it takes what you own. The man who sees only what is visible dies to what is hidden. Every move in this world carries two meanings, the one for the crowd and the one for the outcome. Learn to separate them. People do not show you their intentions. They show you what protects their advantage. Even honesty is a strategy. Even silence is a signal. Even tears have purpose, especially when public. You must read the man, not the moment. A single event means nothing. Patterns speak louder. Watch how he behaves when no one is watching. That is the truth, not the words. Perception is a weapon in your hand. It is control. In theirs, it is a leash. To rule perception, you must shape your own image. Never reveal more than you intend. Speak less than you know. Let your mystery work harder than your clarity. The one who is too visible is too vulnerable. A man who is fully known can be mapped, and a man who can be mapped can be attacked. So, reveal only what creates strength. Hide what you protect. Let them underestimate your power. Let them overestimate your loyalty. Control what they see, not just what you say, but how you move, how you react, how you don't. In a world addicted to attention, your silence becomes your armor. If you don't shape the narrative, you will be shaped by it. They will name you. They will frame you. They will place you where it benefits them. Unless you decide first what you are. And never flinch when tested. Truth without control is weakness. Control without truth is domination. Your task is not to pick sides. Your task is to see clearly, not to join the noise, but to direct it. The one who sees what others ignore holds advantage in every room. A single false perception can destroy 10 true decisions. All it takes is one illusion, one false friend, one staged crisis, one misunderstood signal to collapse years of work. You must guard your mind like a fortress. What appears good may serve evil. What appears bad may serve strategy. You are not here to look righteous, you are here to be effective. Let others chase validation, you chase outcomes. Do not explain yourself. Clarify nothing unless it wins you something. The urge to be understood is weakness. The urge to be underestimated is power. Shape your image for your purpose, not for their approval. Perception must be used, not obeyed, bent, not believed, shaped, not swallowed. This is the discipline of power, to see the game while others see the stage, to know that every gesture is a move, every word is a play, every silence a signal. Once you stop obeying perception, you are finally free to act, but even then, your move is never certain. Clarity and perception are weapons, but decision is war. Every decision is a gamble, the wise know this, the naive deny it. There are no guarantees, only moves, and each move demands a cost. You trade one outcome for another, one enemy for another, one illusion for another form of control, because even the right decision can fail, not because you were wrong, but because the world is not built on fairness. It's built on leverage. A decision is not the end, it is a test of what survives. You decide not to control the future, but to position yourself for it. The board moves, the players shift. Your strength lies in how many exits your move leaves open. Only fools build a strategy that cannot pivot. Do not confuse certainty with strength. Certainty is brittle. A rigid decision breaks the moment the wind changes. Flexibility is power, power that lasts. To think clearly is to see that most decisions are bets, not promises. You will not always be right, that is not the aim. The aim is to place yourself in a position where even your losses buy you something. A failed decision is only failure if it teaches you nothing. The man who cannot learn from defeat will repeat it, but the one who uses loss to rearrange the game, he becomes the architect of outcomes. Never judge a decision by the noise it causes, judge it by the control it gives. Sometimes the best move looks like betrayal. Sometimes the best choice angers the masses. But you were not chosen to please. You chose to advance. The clearest path is not always the wisest. The safest road is not always the strongest. Comfort is a trap dressed as caution. Safety is often a cage built by the weak. You must learn to embrace risk not for the thrill, but for the reward. Do not wait for permission to act. Do not ask for applause before moving. Make the decision that increases your advantage even if it makes others uncomfortable. Every decision will offend someone. Choose whom you're willing to lose. Trying to please everyone is the fastest way to weaken your position. The throne is not shared. Influence is not democratic. Choose what matters and let the rest burn. Most people delay decisions because they want certainty, but certainty is a myth sold by cowards. The moment will never be perfect. The outcome will never be guaranteed, but power belongs to those who move anyway. Decide not just based on facts, but on consequences. Two choices may look equal, but what they create after the fact is not. One opens 3 new doors, the other closes them all. Choose with the chain of effect in mind, not just the initial appeal. Even silence is a decision. Even delay has a cost. To wait too long is to be cornered, and when cornered, even strong men make desperate moves. Decide when it still benefits you, not when it becomes your only option. A decision is not an answer. It is a provocation, a trigger. It sets the world in motion against you, or in your favor. You decide, then you watch the world react. Every move you make reveals allies, enemies, cowards, and opportunists. This is intelligence. Use it. If your decision does not reshape the field, you haven't decided, you've merely reacted. True decisions cause shifts. they tilt the board, they provoke change. That is the difference between leaders and followers. Do not confuse motion with progress. A million actions done without strategy is chaos, not clarity. Every decision must be connected to your aim, not your feeling, not your ego, not their opinion, your aim. That is your compass. You've made the decision. Now the war begins, and your greatest weapon is not the sword. It is information. Information builds thrones. It topples kings. It controls markets. It ends alliances, but only in the hands of those who know how to filter it. The fool consumes information like food. The wise man treats it like poison. He tests every drop before he swallows. In this world, truth is dressed in noise. Everyone speaks, everyone shares, everyone broadcasts, but not everyone deserves your attention. What you know is important, but where you get it, that determines if it empowers or destroys you. Information is not neutral. It comes laced with agenda, buried in bias, wrapped in manipulation. It flatters, it provokes, it distracts, it seduces. If you consume everything, you believe nothing. If you believe everything, you lose everything. He who listens to every voice ends up paralyzed. There's too much data, too little judgment. Clarity dies in the flood. Do not confuse quantity with quality. 1,000 facts are worthless if they serve no outcome. Your mind is not a storage unit, it is a weapon. Sharpen it with selected truths. Filter for advantage. Ignore the irrelevant. Focus on what moves the pieces on the board. The man who knows 10 truths about nothing is weak. The man who knows one truth about power and uses it controls the room. You must become a gatekeeper, not just of your choices, but of your inputs. Every source must earn your trust. Every headline must pass through fire. Ask, who benefits from you believing this? That is the golden question. Every article, every speech, every expert. What is their gain? Follow the interest, not the message. Most of what you hear is not designed to inform you, it is designed to shape you. They don't want you to think. They want you to react, to align, to conform. Join their army without realizing you've been drafted. Control the source, and you control the direction of the mind. This is why leaders don't just seek truth, they engineer it. They don't ask what's true, they ask what's useful. Filtered information is wisdom, and wisdom is ruthless. You must learn to discard what's entertaining, what's popular, what's comfortable. Only keep what strengthens your decision making. Everything else is a distraction dressed as relevance. The most dangerous lie is the one that comes wrapped in statistics. Do not be fooled by numbers. They can be bent, framed, sliced. The wise man sees the context behind the chart. He asks, what are they not showing me? Data is not knowledge, and knowledge is not power unless it's used with intent. Knowing something means nothing if it changes nothing. What matters is application, not accumulation. What you do with what you know determines your rank. Even your enemies are sources, but only if you know how to listen between their lies. There is signal in deception, patterns in propaganda, hidden fears inside loud threats. If you train your mind to listen beneath the noise, you will hear what they didn't mean to say. Every great strategist is a quiet thief stealing truths from the mouths of fools. Let them talk. Let them boast. Let them gossip. You extract intelligence, not entertainment. Their noise is your blueprint. The less you speak, the more they reveal. Your silence creates a vacuum, and people hate silence, so they fill it with secrets, with opinions, with slips they'll regret later. Listen like a predator, quiet, focused, selective. Protect your inputs like you protect your assets. Do not let everyone advise you. Do not let every voice in. Do not scroll endlessly. Do not absorb without filtering. Guard your mental gates with the same ruthlessness you guard your fortune. Every piece of information is a seed. What you water grows. Once you control the flow of information, the next power is time. because now you decide when to act. And more importantly, when not to. Speed is worshipped by the masses, but the wise know haste is a setup. The world will pressure you to act fast not for your benefit, but for theirs. They rush you because your pause makes them uncomfortable, because your silence denies them control, because your delay means they don't know what's coming. To delay is to create space, and space is where clarity sharpens, while panic exposes the enemy. Wait, and you will see who gets nervous, who speaks too much, who shows their hand. The impatient man betrays himself. Acting too fast may give you the appearance of decisiveness, but appearance means nothing if it leads to destruction. You must act when the moment demands, not when your ego wants. Do not confuse reaction with readiness. The difference is the cost of survival. Every second you delay is a test for you and for them. Will you flinch? Will they fold? Will new options appear? Delay is not inactivity. It is calculated patience. It is chess, not slumber. The greatest opportunities rarely appear at the start of the storm. They appear just after the fool has drowned. Let others rush. Let them clash. Let them bleed. And then you move clean, prepared, untouched. Delay is a lens. It shows you what pressure hides. Emotions cool. Lies unravel. Masks slip. In time, every truth begins to leak through, but only if you wait long enough to catch it. The strong delay to observe, the weak delay to avoid. This is the line. One is tactical, the other is cowardice. You must learn the difference. Delay because you choose, not because you fear. The man who cannot wait is owned by the moment. The man who can wait owns the moment. There is no glory in being first if being first leads you into the trap. The trap is always set for the impulsive. Delay confuses the predictable. It breaks the rhythm. It makes the enemy nervous. They plan for your reaction, but when it doesn't come when you stay still, they begin to doubt. And doubt is a crack in the armor. Most people speak before they think, move before they plan, decide before they understand. Your pause becomes a signal, a warning, that you are not to be provoked, because you do not flinch. The man who delays with discipline is not slow, he is untouchable. In negotiation, the one who speaks last wins. In conflict, the one who strikes second with precision ends it faster than the one who strikes first in panic. Even time itself can be bent if you know how to control perception. Let them think you are hesitant. Let them think you are divided. Meanwhile, you are calculating, assembling, waiting for their guard to drop. Delay is the mother of dominance, not because it avoids risk, but because it multiplies advantage. Every moment you wait is a moment you collect leverage, more knowledge, more options, more reactions, more control, but do not wait forever. Wait until the waiting becomes a weapon. There is a point where delay transforms into decay. Know this line, cross it, and you rot. Master it. And you reign. The predator does not chase, it stalks, it waits, then it ends it in one strike. This is how power moves, silent, patient, lethal, not in haste, but in inevitability. To delay is to control the rhythm of the game, and he who controls the rhythm dictates the ending. Do not be lured into their urgency. Their emergency is not yours. Let them run, scream, panic. You sit still and plan their replacement. The world will call you cold, distant, arrogant, but never forget. A storm doesn't explain itself before it arrives. Delay is silent. Before impact, power in the form of calm, and calm is feared more than rage. Delay is not retreat, it is alignment. And when the time comes, you strike with the weight of everything you waited for. You've waited. You've watched. You've gathered control. Now you must decide who you're doing it for. Every mind is pulled between self and society, but only one can lead. And if you do not choose yourself first, someone else will choose for you. Clarity begins with loyalty to your survival, your vision, your outcome. You were not born to carry the weight of everyone's needs. You were born to move your piece on your terms toward your aim. The man who thinks of others before thinking of himself is called generous. Until he is broken and forgotten, the world praises the selfless, then it feeds on them. Sacrifice is only noble to those who benefit from it. If you do not protect your position, no one else will. Charity without strategy is suicide. Service without boundaries is slavery. You must know this. Before they write your purpose for you, you owe them nothing until you owe yourself everything. Build your foundation first. Guard your time. Grow your strength. Then and only then decide who is worth your loyalty. Thinking clearly means knowing when to say no, especially when they call it selfish. They will test your silence. They will guilt your ambition. They will shame your independence. That is the price of escaping the herd. Pay it without apology. Do not seek to be loved, seek to be respected. If you are lucky, the love may come later. If not, you will still have your power. People will ask for your energy, your time, your voice, your service. Learn to ask first. What do I gain? What do I lose? Who profits more than or me? Selflessness is only beautiful when it's voluntary and strategic. Anything else is exploitation in disguise. You are not here to please, you are here to win, and winners understand this brutal truth. Not everyone deserves your kindness. Not everyone deserves your help. Thinking clearly means identifying the leeches and cutting them off before they call you cruel. They will take, they will flatter, they will depend, until you say no. Then they will accuse. Let them. Their reaction reveals their intent. A man who cannot say no is not noble, he is controlled. You are not selfish for thinking ahead. You are not arrogant for putting yourself first. You are simply playing the game as it is not as they pretend it should be. Clear thought does not ask, is this good? It asks, is this mine to carry? Every burden accepted without clarity becomes a trap. Every favor done without calculation becomes a pattern, and patterns become chains. Be generous, yes, but on your terms, not out of guilt, not out of obligation, but out of calculated choice. Give when giving builds you. Give when giving earns loyalty, leverage, strength. Never give to feel important. That's how kings become pawns. Thinking collectively before thinking selfishly is how empires collapse from within. You must build your walls first. Plant your flags first. Establish your rules before you open the gate. Otherwise, the crowd will drown you. If you cannot think selfishly, you cannot protect your clarity. And without clarity, you serve others' interests by default. They'll say, be kind. Be kind, but never at the cost of your throne. They'll say, be humble. Be humble, but never to those who weaponize it against you. Even service can be strategic, but only if you are clear about why you serve when you serve. And who benefits most. Control your reasons, track the outcomes. If your giving weakens you, stop. If your sacrifice is invisible, walk. If your support is expected, weaponized, and unpaid, leave. In every collective, someone profits. If it's never you, you are not in a community. You are in a trap. You were told that selfishness is evil, but what they meant was this: don't think for yourself because we need you obedient. True power begins when you no longer apologize for protecting your time, your purpose, your vision. You must reclaim the right to think selfishly, not to harm others, but to prevent them from slowly draining the very mind you need to lead. Self-prioritization is not arrogance. It is armor. Wear it, use it, stand in it. And then if and when you choose, give, serve, protect. With intention, not with blind habit. The one who thinks selfishly before he thinks collectively. Thinks clearly, and the one who thinks clearly decides who he becomes.